morning, Central Texas. Welcome to KISS Community Connections, 103.1 KISS FM. I'm Phyllis Jones, your host for this morning. You know, October, it's almost over, but it's not too late to learn. In fact, it's never too late to learn. You know, and October is a combination month. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it's also Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it's Down Syndrome Awareness Month. Woo, okay. And that's a whole lot. And it's a lot, but then it isn't, because we need to know about all three. And, you know, I've always said I would not talk about one without talking about the other, because both should share. It shouldn't be imbalanced. It should both share, because you actually have women from domestic violence with breast cancer. So, you know, so they're together. So I did a search and I was searching for someone to come on the show to talk about breast cancer awareness. So good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
And you belong to?
I'm Julie Mosier. I'm the co-founder of Pink Warrior Angels, based out of Coppers Cove, Texas.
And what's Pink Warrior Angels? So
Pink Warrior Angels is a 501c3 nonprofit that was founded by myself and Jen Reynolds out of New Braunfels. Mm-hmm. We met through a hashtag on Instagram, and it was about hair growth. I wanted to see what somebody's hair looked like at the stage that I was at, because losing my hair was a huge detriment to me.
So you had breast cancer?
I am a 4-year breast cancer survivor next Saturday.
Great. Yes. Okay.
So when I found Jen, what we do is we had to find a better way besides social media to be able to connect with others, because there's not a lot of support groups for younger survivors, if you will.
Right.
Because everybody perceives breast cancer as an older woman's disease. And Jen and I decided that we were going to find a better way to connect with these young ladies. So we now give out chemo care kits, mastectomy care kits. We now have financial aid that we do accept applications for, and our board reviews them. And we give out about $2,000 to $3,000 a month right now, because people forget that even though you're finished with treatment, right, and or going through treatment, you still need dog care, child care, someone to get your groceries, clean your house, cut your grass. Yeah. You know, those kinds of things, right, normal life stuff that still happens. So as people are diagnosed and the newness wears off, and hair starts growing back, reconstructions are done, people just out of sight, out of mind. So we want to make sure that we are continually educating others, and that we are here for those who need financial assistance. And if we don't have it, we'll find it. We even found money for funeral transportation one time.
Okay, that's great. So you had you're a breast cancer survivor. How did you find out you had breast cancer, and how old were you?
So I was 39, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, taking my husband to his 3rd deployment. And I'd gotten out of the shower, and I have this huge mirror in my bathroom, and just said, well, what is that? It looked like a shadow under my left breast. And upon looking at it, it looked like I had burned myself with a curling iron. If you can imagine that mark. My husband's like, well, it should be okay as long as you don't feel anything. And I did not tell him I felt something. Right. So we dropped him off for deployment. I came home, went to my PCM first thing in the morning, and she found 3.
Wow.
So my life not only was turned upside down as a military spouse, that transition of sending your spouse again for the 3rd time, to now she feels something. What is this? Right. So our anniversary that year, I was having biopsies done, and 3 weeks later I was officially diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. Wow. So I do not have a family history. I do not carry the gene. I had just had my well woman checkup in May of that year, and she didn't feel anything. So from May to October, there was a significant change. So, you know, not only the importance of doing self breast exams, because there was such a change in such a short amount of time. Right. It's important to know your body.
It is.
Regardless. Yeah. Yes. So I was 39, and I am now 43, and it's been a long, hard road for me. Besides losing my hair, which was the biggest part for me at the beginning, I had every side effect that you can imagine. Oh, wow. The 1% that this might happen to you, that was me. So I've had in 12 months at that one particular time, I had over 12 surgeries.
Wow.
So that's where we come into play with Pink Warrior Angels, is because I was doing reconstruction, doing those things, but I'd go in for a checkup and then I'd get admitted to the hospital. So then it's like, who's going to pick up my kids? Who's going to feed my dogs for the day? So those kinds of things.
Wow. Man. So what helps with the, as soon as you, they let you know something's wrong, and then as soon as you allow your brain to receive it, because first I don't know who they're talking about, and once you receive it and understand, okay, it is me. Who helps with the depression or the confusion? Who helps with that?
You know, we as in Pink Warrior Angels try to get to everybody that we can at the beginning. I know for me at the very beginning, I didn't want to talk to anybody.
Right.
I was waiting for my husband to come back, which took him a week or so because of weather. I stayed very distant from everybody, but when you get that diagnosis of you have cancer, you have all kinds of things that go through your mind. My nurse navigator at the hospital was probably the only go-to person at that time.
Right.
But you know, she did not have a lot of resources for me. She was a survivor herself, but they wanted me to come all the way to Temple to come to this survivor group. And I'm like, I can't drive that far right now. I'm waiting for my husband. And because I'm mentally emotional mess, can't sleep, hadn't slept in days, you know. And so my PCM was helpful for me to right. Work with me and getting me to sleep, because you're no good unless you get some good sleep.
Right.
So between that and just relying on my one friend that was with me, trying to get through that until the ball started rolling. Now, once the ball started rolling, for me, it was my husband that becomes my person. But while I was going through this entire journey, and as we established Pink Warrior Angels, it was what would I have received at that time to help someone at that moment when they're confused and lost and scared and everything like that. So us as an organization, that's what we try to do, is to get to that person as soon as possible, knowing they may not talk to us, but whoever's referred them to us, we can be that liaison with them and just start sending things or reaching out. And say, okay, you know what, there are people out there who do care and who do understand and can help me get through this.
Okay. So if what would your recommendations be for a woman who, let's say yesterday, she was at the doctor's office and she found out that through tests and everything, she does have breast cancer. What does she do? What's her first step?
I recommend to allow people to help. Allow people to the help and offer of what they give you to accept it. Because us as women, we're strong. We take care of the household. We don't ask for help. That's generally what we do. But to accept the person that's going to come drop off food. Because people will ask you, what do you need?
Right.
Well, you don't know what you need. You're just a hot mess at that time. So then you're just going to need to make sure that you accept someone coming to your house and cleaning.
Okay.
So I would recommend that person to reach out to any sort of group, whether it's a group like ours at Pink Warrior Angels, all the way to the neighbor that might come over and help.
Is there a hotline number that someone could call to get information or about your organization?
Yeah,
is there
our organization is all over the internet. We have all the social media also. But the phone number is 706-267-9260. That is a direct line to me. Okay. And I do answer it in the middle of the night as well, because I do have people that text in the middle of the night as well, you know, because they can't sleep and they're worried about their scan coming up the next day. But we are at pinkwarriorangels.org. And of course, if you search in any of the social media, we will pop up.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. What's the women, as women, and the one thing that we, not based on, but the one thing we care about is appearance. And as you were saying, when your hair falls out, that's a shock. There's a lady I know, and I'm from Detroit. It's a lady, she has Fearless Women events, and she calls herself Fearless Woman, and she has cancer, and she's going through chemo, and she lost all of her hair. So she was asking questions of people: should she wear a wig, or should she just go at, just go? And everybody told her, just go.
Right.
So she shaved head, or she has no hair, but she's doing all of her events and all of her speaking engagements and pumping up women and doing this, but she has no hair. So to me, that's like awesome. Because even though we know what she's going through, she's mentoring women, pushing women that, to be the best, the top, and all this. And meanwhile, she has, you're looking at, she has bald hair. She has no hair on her head, Right. So I think that's fantastic, because she's showing you that even though this is going on with me, you can still be you. You can still do what you do.
And we have good days and bad days, but
Right.
I always say, for me, it was losing my hair. Some people don't want to lose their breast.
Yes.
For me, that wasn't an issue. I was double mastectomy right away. I didn't have to think about it.
Right.
Some people will think about it because they're young and single, and, I didn't think about that. I'd been married for a while, but it wasn't a hard decision for me. But then when we started our group, and there's these young ladies that come in here and they're not married.
Right.
They still have an adult life happening for them. We are all about empowering, because we need to lift one another up regardless, whatever our situation is as women, because of the way we tend to hide things and take in and soak in our stuff to, not seek out help sometimes. So we want to make sure that we let people know that we are here for them.
Right.
We do have a warrior angel program where it's a warrior, someone who's newly diagnosed. They get paired up with an angel, which is someone who's been through that. And these are volunteers that is their person to text in the middle of the night, to receive cards or gifts or whatever it might need to be. And then that angel will give us feedback if so-and-so's been put in the hospital, and we can go visit or send them flowers or something to, cheer them up and let them know that we're here for them.
Okay. What about the other part? The people who won't stand up and don't talk, which is our men.
Yes.
You say breast cancer in men, and they look at you like you have lost all of your mind.
Right.
I mean, they do. They look at you
right. Men do get breast cancer too, and the statistics is not as like women. 1 out of 8. We have a male breast cancer survivor who he went through breast cancer treatments and such, and a mastectomy back in 1993. So 1993, it was even a different time for all of us back then. But he was still very insistent on saying, hey doc, there's something wrong. There is something going on, in the tissues of what he thought was his pec muscles. But he has, men have breast tissue. So I have met many, many male breast cancer survivors, and it's important to make sure that men understand that it can happen to males, but men generally do not go at the first symptoms of anything. They wait and wait and wait till the very last minute, and then they go. But, bottom line for what I do and say is know your body.
Right.
Listen to your body, and then insist that the doctors listen to you, because there are some doctors that'll say you're too young. The male breast cancer survivor in our group was told, well, you're male. There's no way that you could have breast cancer, and it turned out he had stage 2 breast cancer, so you have to know your body. You have to know when, and keep fighting that if you feel something and something's not right, that you insist that someone listens, to go find another doctor. We have many ladies in our group that have went to 2-3 doctors because they're 22 and pregnant.
Oh.
Yes. So that's the youngest one we have. And she was breastfeeding, and she dismissed it as a clogged duct, and went in and talked to her doctor, and turned out it was breast cancer. And when they were prepping her for her mastectomy, found out she was pregnant again already.
Wow.
And so her and her baby went through chemo together, and everything's fine. And this 23-year-old is just, God, she's a little ball of fire. I mean, it's just awesome to see her and what a mom will do.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Also, you go to the doctor, as you said, and first of all, if it's hereditary, not hereditary, but you know what I mean, if other women in your family have had it, what age should the girls go? Should a female go to the doctor and say, hey,
well, right now the standard is, 40.
Oh, yes, 40.
I was 39. I was not ready for a mammogram according to guidelines.
Right.
But we need to educate our young adult now to start doing self-exams. Mm-hmm. I know for my kids, I've already started. They're 17 and 9. And so now they have history in their family. So they will go 10 years before 40 because it's 10 years. So, well, I was 39, so my oldest will go at 29. She used to get a mammogram then. But I said that still can be too late for the people that I have met that are younger than that, to do her self-exams and teach her and know and that it's okay to talk about it and to be able to recognize everything. So just keep insisting, keep feeling, making sure that somebody's listening to you and hear you.
And also, like I said, our men who are invincible.
Yes.
They don't catch anything.
No. Not till the very end. Yes.
They need to, when you heard about breast cancer years ago, you didn't think of it as men. But there's an actor, his name is Richard Roundtree. In fact, he played Shaft in the movies. Mm-hmm. He came out and said he had breast cancer. Mm-hmm. Everybody hit the floor. I mean, they did. Everybody, it was literally, what?
Right.
First of all, it was that he said it. That was the first thing that actually rolled off his lips, and he said it publicly. That was like, really? Wait, hold up, back up. Let's restate that again. Right. But he talked about his entire journey, and that's when it hit me. It's right. Men do have breasts. Oh man. Right. I didn't think, but until he said it, I had never, not that I dismissed it.
Right.
Just didn't think about it. And then when he said it, I'm like, he said it out in public for everybody to hear. Well,
and then the other thing too, think about when Angelina Jolie came out that she had the BRCA gene and she did a double mastectomy prophylactically. Yeah. That was a huge uproar. It's like, why would you want to do that now? Now that I'm more educated on the BRCA genes and, because I've now been through it, my daughter has already told me if she tests positive for the gene, mm-hmm. that she's going to do the same. And I would support her 100%.
Right.
Not a problem, because you want to get that out as soon as you can or take away any chances that you have. So bottom line, everybody know your body and listen to your body and get your doctors to listen to you. And if they don't listen, go find another doctor.
That's true, because your body does speak to you.
Yes.
It's just that, do we listen to it?
Right.
And do we listen to it when we should?
Right.
Or do we listen to it when they say, okay, you know what? If you don't, this is what I'm going to do.
Or we're busy.
That's
we're
true.
Busy. Yeah. Or denial. Or
being Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Yeah, because we women tend to be Wonder Woman.
Right.
I'll go to the doctor, but first I got to do A, B, C, D, make sure this is right. And then I got to go do this. And then I'll go, well, and then I'll go never happens, because that list you created, it goes back up again to be active. Right. And so you keep being at the bottom of the list.
Right, because we're natural caretakers and we take care of everybody first.
Yes.
So you have to take care of yourself. And that was hard for me through my journey, was one, asking for help. Mm-hmm. And two, putting myself even somewhat before my kids, because my upbringing is you take care of the kids. My mother's Korean, old fashioned. The kids, the husband, you.
Right.
And I could barely do me,
Right.
So I had to rely on others to help me with my kids and my poor husband, the co-survivors that have go through all of this. Like, I didn't think about it until about a year or so ago about what all my husband had been through. Mm-hmm. It was just crazy. So he speaks and he connects with some of our other spouses.
Right.
On the other side of it, where they're the co-survivors. So because they need support too.
Yeah.
Right. They need support too.
I know before, when my mother was alive, she discovered she had breast cancer, right? So immediately I freaked out, assumed that I was dying. I did. I had killed myself, actually.
Right,
I did. Yeah. I did. I actually, okay, this is for you, and so I went through the whole freak out method. And then I flew home, and she had a mastectomy. And, then I was still freaking out because I'm thinking about, okay, I'm doomed. I'm like, I am just doomed. This is just it. So I came back, went to the doctor, and, I'm freaking out. He's looking at me like, you have lost your mind. He did. He was like, he said, first of all, let's talk about this. Right. And we talked about it. So that didn't help me now. It didn't help me because I just knew I just knew it was it. Well, then a year later, my mother passed away, but she passed away because she was a diabetic, and her body, diabetes took over. So naturally, you know what I did, right? Went right back to the doctor. I'm like, listen, I'm dying of diabetes and I have breast cancer.
Right.
He goes, why? Because my mother does.
Right.
I did. I went through the whole thing. I was, I said, so do whatever we got to do, something, So then again, I went through the learning moment. Again, he let me know that diabetes eating away at her body was one. She didn't die of breast cancer. He said she died of diabetes. He said, so we're going to test you, but you're okay.
Right.
But I went through the whole, and he was letting me know that other illnesses can affect other things and bring other things on. So yes, I was freaking out for nothing. I went through a whole freak out moment. I was, and he knew I was freaking out, but I was like, I am just, I had gave myself diabetes, breast cancer. I had, I did everything,
Right.
But I didn't know that other illnesses such as diabetes, which destroys every organ.
Right.
That could do that. So yes, so I went through
generally, they say those breast cancer survivors that have stage 4 and such, it's not necessarily the cancer that kills them.
Right.
It's just that combination of everything that's going on in their body, and the body's just tired and shuts down. We need more for stage 4 because we have a lot of women in our group that, we're only 2.5 years old, our organization, and when they joined us at the beginning, they're now stage 4. They've been re-diagnosed. So that's scary. It's very scary, and it's an emotional roller coaster. But so we're working on having separate funding for stage 4 survivors in our group because they're in treatment for the rest of their life.
Right. There.
However long or short that may be, but we want to make sure that we have funds to be able to support them differently.
Okay, well, Julie, I would like to thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having
me. And explaining what needs to be done and that you're here. So once again, I want you to give the name of the group, your organization, and how people can reach you.
So our organization is Pink Warrior Angels. You can reach us at pinkwarriorangels.org. You can do a search and we'll pop up on all the social media as well. And we are based, our home office is out of Coppers Cove. We do have a branch in the New Braunfels, San Antonio area. And our number is 706-267-9260.
Okay. So everybody got that, I hope.
Yes.
Because, also we didn't need to do this a long time ago, but we need to do it now. We need to be walking phone books.
Yes.
We do.
Yes.
We need to be walking phone books because we've come we're in now a world where you need to know, okay, if somebody walks to you and say, you know what, do you know anybody that? You be like, yeah, yes. I know some. Yes, I do. We need to become walking phone books and
that's why it's important to network because you never know who knows somebody.
Yeah.
You said it was, domestic violence month as well too. And we've had some ladies that are no longer married now and they kind of went through some of that as well too. So it is almost a hand in hand because of the emotions and everything that goes.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
It is.
Very scary.
It is. Okay, we're going to take a break and come right back.